one thing that really I just could not sit with, because clearly what was haunting her was a demon, and that was, you could see that when they put the powder on the thing, and then the 3-toed hooves showed up in the chalk or whatever it was. It was like flour or something. They had moved houses, and this thing came with. So that is what's got me twisted. You go to a haunted house. What if it imprints on you? What if it? Are you opening up a window for
Aren't
this?
you supposed to do stuff like smudge stick? Like, okay, we're leaving now. Bye. Smudge stick. Wave it in the air. And you can't follow me.
If I'm the ghost, I'm like, this is not Phasmophobia, idiot. You think a little smoke does anything to me? I'm a ghost.
Welcome back to the show. There's no telling where we'll go. So come and share a laugh on the Imp and Skizz podcast.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's that time of year. It's time to kick off the holiday season with Halloween.
I want us to point out that was not planned.
No,
that was like, I didn't know.
You jumped on so fast.
So here's how this works. Okay, before we start every podcast, we talk about, do you want me to kick this off? You want to kick it off? He's like, I'll do it. You just started making that noise, and I just
you knew exactly where I was going.
I just stopped. I just hopped on.
It's like the oddest way to, especially for the audio listeners, like, what am I listening to? Oh man. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna with it being 'tis the season, you know, I guess 'tis the season.
No,
I feel
that's
like
more
starts.
Christmassy.
I feel it starts though. And this is Halloween to me is the kickoff of the holiday season.
Fair.
Because it's literally like
Halloween,
bang, 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 bang.
Thanksgiving,
right. Yeah,
Christmas,
New Year's.
You got Chanukah's floating about in there. I'm not very well.
Did you say
read.
Chanukah?
Yeah, that's a joke.
Okay.
But what is it?
I want to make sure we clear that up. People are like, Skizz doesn't know what Hanukkah is.
I understand, but what days is Hanukkah? It's
I don't know.
See,
there's like 13 candles or something.
Yeah.
Now you're making us sound like we don't know what we're talking about, because
that's a pre-existing condition,
that's
bro.
True.
I'm just being very honest.
True. We don't know much about
and
that
then
holiday.
New Year's, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then...
I mean, I consider like New Year's the stop, even though there's Valentine's Day and Easter and all that stuff that comes afterwards.
And then my wife's birthday.
So there's just always something. Anyway, you know...
I'm feeling silly.
The Halloween season's not something I typically get into, you know, because it always felt like it was just about the candy, you know, the kids dressing up and that's fun. I think, you know, the costumes are cute and I love that my kids like typically get into, I mean, my 2 older ones are done with it, but I still have my youngest one who likes to dress up and go trick-or-treating every year.
Yeah.
And the one nice thing is now that my other 2 are older, they can take her to go do that. I don't have to go door to door anymore with her. But to me, Halloween was just always felt like it was just about that, about like just getting the candy. And I guess that was a lot of the excitement when I was a kid, was seeing how much candy I could collect. But something got into me this year. I don't know what it is. I'm embracing it, dude. I dressed up on the MCC stream.
You sure did. It was great, too.
We got a whole plan. Usually I just sit on the couch watching TV, and when the doorbell rings, I'll get up, take your candy, kids. Oh, cute costume by.
Get pencils.
I got like a bah humbug of Halloween in the past. And this year, I don't know. I just decided to embrace it. I just wanted to like try to enjoy it and see what people like about it so much. And so we went into a spirit of Halloween. It's like a big costume store that pop up. They're pop-up shops basically that happen every time Halloween rolls around. And we went in and like I just started walking around the store and I was like, man, this is really cool. Like I want to be one of those people that go all out and like have a haunted house in their front yard and like all the decorations and lights and sounds and smoke machines. And I dress up as a Grim Reaper and jump out of the bushes and
kick the kid in the face and steal his candy.
Scare the kid off. You know, like I started having these visions of grandeur and I had to reel myself back a little bit. Yeah. I'm just like, calm down, dude. Calm down. Okay. All right. Let's just try this. Just maybe like sit outside to hand out candy instead of inside on the couch, you know, like, you know, I wanted to, I don't know why I got into me. I always wanted to be one of those people that gave out full-size candy bars. I don't know why. I'm like, someday I'm going to reach peak status in life and be one of those houses that hand out full-size candy bars.
It has nothing to do with the kids enjoying the full-size candy bar. It's about you being the person handing out the full-size candy
I want them to be like, that fat minion guy has the best candy. Yeah. Because that's my costume, was a minion from Even the minions.
Yeah, it looks so good.
Anyway, so, and that was just because it's our MCC team chose to do that. And so I'm obviously not going to buy a second costume.
No.
I'm not that into Halloween. But no, we decided this year if the weather was nice, which it's looking
is
like,
nice.
I mean, it's like, it suddenly went from living on the sun to like, this is why we live here.
Yeah, it's cool.
Like within just a couple nights. It's like, okay, now I remember why we live here. So it's nice. So we're going to sit outside. We got a projector that we got for my son's graduation party a couple years ago. And we're going to put up a screen and project Hocus Pocus. Try to come up with a movie that wasn't going to like scare little kids too much. You know what I mean? But was still very Halloween-y. So we're going to be just like watching Hocus Pocus in the driveway and handing out full-size candy bars. I'm going to be in my Minions costume. We got yard decorations. You've seen my yard decorations. They're pretty nice.
Yeah, you're doing a really good job. Like, and actually you do this for Christmas as well. Like I like it. I do decorate for Christmas. I've never decorated for Halloween ever in my whole life. I've never really been that into it. But when I see houses that do what you're talking about, having like awesome entrances. Like I was walking home the other day.
You saw the one down the street.
Yes.
They went all out. They have like a full-blown garage wrap. Like
yes.
Their garage door has a full-blown like mural or whatever you call it.
It's so good.
It's crazy.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, that actually is really impressive. And it does kind of make me want to do that stuff. And sometimes I'll see stuff like on TikTok or whatever of just like all out stuff. And one of the greatest ones I saw was there was a TV screen and this girl dressed up as the girl from The Ring and crawled out of it. And I'm just like,
epic.
Dude,
that's epic.
That's the stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm very, when people go all out like that, I find it very, very admirable. I really, really do. And like I said, I do it for Christmas. I never do it for Halloween. And you got me a little sad. Like I kind of like, I admire that you're doing this. And I'm trying to reflect on why do I never do this? Was I not into Halloween as a kid? Like, I have a buddy of mine whose whole family was massively into Halloween and they would throw huge parties. Bro, huge parties. Well, I went dressed up as the Blue Man Group with two other drummers and performed at one of them one time, dude. And like they had like, there would probably be anywhere from 80 to 100 people at these parties. And it was just,
I think I went to one of them. Me and my wife
did. You? Okay, well, there you go. You know who I'm talking about then.
Yep.
Yeah. Dude, this is probably the best costume I've ever seen in my entire life. It was his neighbors. Are you ready for this? This is amazing. His neighbors, a family of like 5, lived about, I think like 8 houses down or so. They all dressed up as crayons. Okay. Each one was an individual crayon. But here's the deal. They also walked together in a giant crayon box. What? Like they had to like have their feet together. It was this giant crayon box coming down, complete with when you got to the backside of it, there was a giant crayon sharpener on the
gosh.
I mean, how do you not admire that?
That's cool.
It's so impressive, you know. And I just
they were
think
probably
it's
regretting that decision by the end of the night, though.
Well, they took it out. They took the box off by the time they got to the party.
Could like split up.
They literally.
I gotta go to the bathroom. Everybody goes together. This is awkward.
Go out the sharpener. No, they came together, but they ditched the box. Well, they literally made the box just for their entrance, which is really impressive. But
that's the extra mile there.
I don't know.
What do you have any memorable costumes? That you, like we're talking about costumes. Do you have any memorable
of my
ones?
own? Oh, yeah. I've never done. Okay. This might be not really super well received, but just go with me on this if you will.
Okay.
Okay.
Got me nervous now.
Well. Okay, here it goes.
We've gone over 100 episodes without getting canceled yet.
We're not going to get canceled for this, but I think all right, audience, just go with me on this. Just be cool, man.
Times were different back then.
Yeah.
Disclaimer.
It's actually, now that we're saying this, it's really not that bad. But the bottom line is this. There was a party coming up that I'd been invited to, and I just did nothing to prepare for it. And so the weeks go by, and I'm like, that party's tonight. And I'm like, I got nothing. I can't go dressed up as nothing. But I don't do costumes. I don't do this. What am I going to do? So here's what I did.
Can I guess? Can I take a guess?
No. You're going to ruin it if you guess.
Do you think I'll get it?
Well, I think you might know the story.
I don't think I do, but I have a guess.
What's your guess? No, let me just tell it. What is your guess? Wait, go like this and whisper it to me. Don't whisper. Don't make noise.
I'll just ask you a question. Was a bed sheet involved?
No.
Okay.
No. Okay. Was it? You thought a ghost?
No, I thought you grabbed a bed sheet and like just made it like a toga or whatever.
No.
You know what I mean? And just like okay.
No, this was
because I can see you doing that because you know you're very proud and you should have been of your physique back then. So like to show it off with just a toga.
Well, this is a little bit after the back then, so I don't think I would have had that level of confidence.
All right.
But anyways, here's what I did. You ready for this? I this is just let me just get through this. I bought a pink shirt, a pink collared shirt that was too tight for me.
Okay.
And I popped the collar. Okay. The biggest collar I could find. I popped the collar and I took a Ziploc bag, a giant Ziploc bag. Imagine like a sandwich bag, but the freezer ones that are big, they're big.
Yeah.
A big Ziploc bag. I filled it halfway with water and I threw a bunch of dirt in there. Okay. Then I closed it. Then out of it, I had a tube coming out of it. And so this is what I did. Okay. I had the dirty bag was right here and I had this tube running out and around my neck with my pink colored shirt on that's too tight and a collar popped. What did I go as, Impulse? Because a couple people got it. And some people listening right now are getting it.
I can't even vision this in my mind.
So a tight pink shirt with the collar popped. And then, okay, I'm just going to tell you, I went as a douchebag. Okay.
Okay, I didn't want to say it.
Why did you just say it? So now you do think it's bad to talk about? This is funny. So there was this time, and this was the era where there was just this huge fashion thing where and to this day, I don't get it. It was just super cool. I never did it, for the record. And if you did it, you're not a bad person, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what you were thinking. It was all of a sudden cool to wear pink shirts that were too small for you and pop the collar. It made no sense.
Yeah.
It was very short-lived.
It was so funny because as soon as you said pop the collar, that's what came to mind. But then you went on with the rest of the bag and the blowing up thing, and that's what actually led me astray.
No, I went as a douchebag. So it was maybe a poor choice, but it wasn't, because the amount of laughs it got and the amount of people that actually got it was really funny. Because keep in mind, this was at the peak, actually was at the first start of the fall of that fashion style, right? It was like most of the world was like, what are you doing? Like, why did you buy a shirt that's 2 to 3 sizes too small and pop the collar and is this bright fuchsia pink? What is this? I mean, is there a bigger form of peacocking? Because I can't think of one. And so it was like this thing that not a lot of people were like doing, but it was very well known. It was very short lived. So that's what I did. That's my most memorable one. I didn't dress up a lot. Clearly, I'm not good at it.
I don't remember specifically a lot of costumes. I do remember that a lot of them were homemade. Like my mom,
like this one.
Yeah, my mom liked to make like homemade ones. And, I do remember a lot of just like the typical stuff, vampire. Where you get blood on the shirt and it's torn and the face paint and all that stuff. I remember doing like the typical stuff. Yeah. But I think the one that I enjoyed the most, even though I had a mask and I hated wearing the masks, was when Scream was big. Oh. And I had like worn the Scream mask. Yeah. And so that was really popular. And that one, because Scream was fairly like new at the time, like that costume, you jump out of like around a corner on the group. Yeah. And it actually was pretty terrifying. There's something about at the time. That mask. And that's so interesting to see. Like I went into Spirit of Halloween and still seeing that thriving. The Scream mask setup gig is still a thing. They're not still making those movies, are they?
Well, I don't think they're making the movies, but that mask has been readily available since that movie came out.
There's a name for that guy.
For the mask?
Yeah, isn't there a name? It's not just the Scream mask. Maybe it is. I don't know.
Maybe it has a name.
Yeah, I don't know. But have you been into a Spirit of Halloween recently?
What, the store? Mm-hmm. I was only there. Well, I went to not that one. Well, kind of. I went to Party City because I had to get some blue paint for MCC because we were the Blue Banshees, and so I wanted to put some stripes on. I did a Braveheart thing. I did Steven from the Irishman from Braveheart.
Did he talk in an accent?
No.
Didn't try?
No, I didn't. I was trying to focus on not sucking too bad for my team. That was my objective. That was my level.
So you picked a costume that wasn't going to make you worse. That's good.
Well, I'll tell you, the team originally thought about doing the Blue Man Group, but I was like, guys, I've sort of been there before, and it's going to look like a Smurf took a dump on her face. Those are actual professional makeup artists. And it's
Wait, you think Smurfs have blue poop?
Don't they? Well, now you're just ruining it. You think that they just leave a giant brown
color
steamer?
Than your skin color? I would hope. Anyway. just saying.
God.
I'm not sure you thought that
We
through.
did not have anything to drink before this podcast. I want to make that very, very clear because there's some slap happiness going on.
No, well, I mean, we've had a few, like, I don't know, like last or next week's topic that so we're out of order, by the way. We should just tell everybody. We actually recorded next week's podcast before we recorded this one. And
We did.
Yeah, so
It doesn't
with the
matter.
lineup, dates are hard, the lineup of things. We wanted this to go out since we're talking about Halloween, the day after Halloween.
Yeah.
So anyway, there is something we totally forgot about.
We need to mention this.
Yeah, we do need to mention
You
something.
do it this time.
I'll
That's
do it
why I
this
say
time.
this time because you're going to hear it next time. And that was the first time we did it. It's going to be really confusing, but you're going to love it. Ready, set, go.
Yeah. So it's sort of a new thing. We're on Patreon, and we used to be on Glimpse, but since have moved over to Patreon. And it is like a fantastic way, if you guys enjoy the show, it's a fantastic way to support the show, but you get something out of it, which is super cool. If you join the VIP tier on patreon.com/Imp&Skizz, I'll put a link in the description for you guys if you are interested. You get to join us for a pre-show. We don't have a cool name for it just yet.
We don't need one. It's a cool, fun pre-show where you hang out with us. And,
in Discord. So if you join, you get connected through Discord. And you'll be in a private Discord where you can chat about the show with like-minded people and all that stuff. But more importantly, an hour before we record this, which we've been doing it on Thursdays in the morning, our time, you guys can join us for the pre-show. And we just hang out. It's a video call. We're like on a stage, and you're in the audience, and you get to chat with us and stuff. We get to respond to you. And we talk about lots of stuff. We talk about like things that have been going on in our lives. We talk about the podcast and what topic might be coming up and getting like feedback and stuff and things people would like to hear us talk about. It's a great group. It's a great way to support the show. And patreon.com/Imp&Skizz if you're interested.
Yeah, it's fun.
Helps us out a ton. So,
it's a lot of fun too.
yeah, we've kind of grown like a family community type
We
thing
have.
there. It's cool.
It's important to mention that it's also been sort of this weird kind of a therapeutic thing for me. I don't know if it is for you, but it's a good way to kind of warm up the vocal cords and just sort of relax, settle into a podcast atmosphere because it's very much like this, but we're really just kind of talking to you and reading what you're asking and we're responding and stuff like that.
It's like a live podcast, but it's like pre-podcast. Yeah. You're right. Cause like we do it, we have a new groove that we're in right now. And I don't know how long it's will last, but it's been working to where we are actually dedicating every Thursday of our week, full day.
Who can we
to
thank
this
for that?
podcast?
Let's do it.
And yeah, we got the idea from the Spawn Chunks folks, Pixel Riffs and Joel.
Yep.
And we really like that idea because we used to kind of like stretch the tasks of making this podcast throughout the week.
Yeah.
And which resulted in a lot of context switching.
Context switching and a lot of last minute things because there was always something else taking
like,
its place.
Where was I, and how much more we have to do. I'm juggling all these things.
Yeah.
Where now we know this day is dedicated to the podcast. We can get together, do the pre-show, record it, you edit it. I'm typically doing more of the business side of the house, like setting up Patreon and doing any communications through Discord and stuff like that. And,
just a podcast day.
And tearing down all the lights. And
Thursday podcast day. That's
so it's kind of cool. So we're dedicating an entire day of our content creation week to this show. And so, obviously having some support through Patreon is a big help for us, and it helps, keep that viable for us. So we appreciate all the support.
It's also just a great community. Like it just is. And it's so.
Yeah,
so
don't want to oversell it, but
no.
It's there for you guys if you're interested. If you found any value and you can support the show, we'd love to have you as part of the community. But that's that. We'll probably mention it from time to time just so that people know it's there.
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to watch every podcast. We get that.
It's also a good a place to make podcast suggestions too.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Which is
not that we're running out. We have a list still.
We still have a list, but it's still a good place to get it out there.
But we like to hear from you guys, what you like, what you don't like about the podcast, and any topic ideas, any guest ideas you have, and all that kind of stuff. So it's a good place to be able to have that back and forth communication with us as well. Yeah.
So here's a Halloween story that I don't tell very often.
Okay.
This was let's see, what grade was I in, bro? I stopped trick-or-treating, I think, relatively young. But
how young is young?
Well, I
feel like I stopped in high school. Is that late?
I feel like it's late. But I don't judge kids who are still doing it. I don't like it when they're not trying. Okay? I don't like it when they put on a Groucho Marx mustache and try to just go get a bunch of candy.
Like
when you're 16, go drive to the store.
Yeah, when a high school kid comes to the door with like you said, just a mustache or goofy glasses or whatever, you kind of want to be like, really?
Yeah, come on, man.
But I still give them the candy.
Well, of
or
course,
whatever,
you're not
but
going to say no.
It's kind of like, come on.
Otherwise, you're going to get a trick.
But like junior high kids, we're talking like 13, 14 maybe. Like I think that's still okay.
I think it's okay.
Getting to the point
It's
to where
getting
it's
there.
like
You're starting to get
Yeah.
there. You got to keep in mind, dude. Like I had friends that were still doing it in high school. In fact, back when I was in my rock band, I'll never forget this, dude. We had a concert. We played a Halloween night concert somewhere. And I was like, I want to practice earlier in the day for this concert because there's a couple parts of like, this song it's dirty every time. And I want to fix this, right? I was kind of a jerk in the band. And, but the singer was very much in my corner. He's like, yeah, I agree. Let's meet up. And the bassist and the guitarist they were like, yeah, we'll do that. So they show up and we're practicing. And then I had like another hour or two to practice. And they were like, oh, the bassist and the guitarist, we got to go. I'm like, go where? We're performing tonight. What is happening? They're like, yeah, but we're not performing till later. So we're going to go trick-or-treating. I'm like, you're seniors in high school. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And I'm just like, what? No, dude. And me and the singer were just like, dude, guys, please, can you just stay and practice, please? Because we're performing tonight. Like, no, we want to go we're going trick-or-treating. And they were very adamant. I don't want to stand in the way. But I was just like, I remember thinking like, guys, I love you, but you were way too old to be doing this. Way too old. But they did. They went and they got their candy. They came back. We did a show. It was fine. To me, that's too old. That's too old. But the story I'm going to tell you was I must have been probably 6th grade, I'd say. 6th grade, maybe 7th grade. I'm pretty sure 6th grade. It may have been 5th. I don't know. This is a while ago. And we're out trick-or-treating, and my buddy, David, I hope he's doing all right these days. His bag, I always would do a pillowcase, but he was doing a big plastic bag, like a grocery plastic bag, you know? And we were deep into the night, dude. Our stash was pretty good, man. And then his went from all to nothing like this. No. Bag snatched.
See, that was such a thing back then.
So
I hope that's
mean.
not a thing still.
I hope not either. I can't. I am literally if you're listening right now and you have bag snatched somebody, I imagine you've grown, you've matured, and you regret it and all that. But I will say right here, F you. I literally could not believe this happened.
Yeah.
And it was so fast. And it was a testament to how old these kids were because they popped in the back of their truck and drove away. We were still in like 5th, 6th grade or whatever, right? So there was a truck in front of us and we were all walking together. It's late at night and, you know, we're like laughing and having a good time, good memories, making good memories. And we just hear that, like, you'd hear just a few, it was really quick. And I got to give it to this kid, man. He should have been on a track team or something. He was quick. And he ripped the bag out of my buddy's hand.
All the sugar he'd stolen.
Yeah. He ripped the bag out of my buddy's hand. And like my buddy was literally left holding the straps of his bag. And he jumped in the back of the truck and they just drove off. And I was shocked because I'd seen some bad people in my life, and this is not an evil person by any means, but this is a piece of crap is what this person is at this time in their life. And my buddy's like, he's all, okay. Like he didn't know what literally they're gone already. There's nothing we can do. First of all, even if they weren't gone, they're like way bigger and older than we are. There's nothing we can do, but now they're gone. We can't even like throw insults their way. Like they're like what just happened? I couldn't believe what I was experiencing. And so naturally we went and got another pillowcase and we all like divvied up our candy so he could get him back up to where he needed to be. And we went back out to see if we could refill it. But you can't undo that moment. That moment of like unbelievable violation, you know what I mean? And I remember
I've watched it happen, you know.
I was so
and it was the same
pissed.
kind of scenario too.
You watched it happen?
Yeah.
Did you?
I was walking and it wasn't somebody I was with, but there was like I don't know why they didn't try to grab mine. I had a pillowcase full of candy.
Yeah.
But there was a kid who was younger than me, up ahead, and somebody just like cut out of like the bushes out of a house and just decided he was the one and snatched his up and ran off through houses like down another street or whatever. And it happened so fast, like you just are frozen, you know? And we did the same thing. Like it was odd. Like we did the same thing. Like me and my buddy, we were just standing there and we watched it happen and we saw this kid just devastated. And he was probably a couple years younger than us. And we might've been a little older, like 6th grade or something. So maybe 12 or so. And we see this happen and we're just like, we felt so bad for him that we did the same thing. We just went over and we're like, dude, you can have some of our candy. And me and my friend had been out and about for a long time. I had a pillowcase that was like, we were actually going back to our house because we were like tired of carrying it. It was so heavy. We had so much candy, you know? And so I was like, no, I don't need all this candy. I'm not going to ever eat all this candy.
Yeah.
And so I was like, let's go give him some of ours, because like he was just like distraught,
Yeah.
you know? And I was like, come on, man.
Yeah, see what
like
I mean?
These holidays are supposed to be fun,
Yeah.
and these like kids are out there ruining it. How we getting to the? No, we're getting to the
We're
old man.
telling Halloween
We're getting to the old
stories.
man part of it, but. That same friend and I, we decided the year after not to go trick-or-treating. I don't know if that just put a bad taste in our mouth about it or whatever, but the year after we're like, let's not go trick-or-treating this year. Let's mess with the people that come to your house for trick-or-treating. And so we did the thing where, and I don't recommend this because we were kind of young and dumb, but I got on his roof.
Okay, I'm listening.
So I was on his roof, and I think I did like a painted like ghost face type thing, and so I was up on his roof. He was in the bushes off to the side of the door, and so we had it down to where like he would jump out. And they would kind of like turn around to like run off.
Yeah.
And then I would like reach down from the roof and like, "Rah!" And that's like coming where they're coming to. And so they were just kind of like stuck in between us. I kind of feel bad about that
Why?
now.
That's funny.
Because like we scared the crap out of some kids that were too young to be scared. You know what
didn't
I mean?
pick your audience.
Yeah,
okay.
like we were too dumb to realize, stick to the kids that are close to our age. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair.
Not the 7-year-old in the Toy Story costume, but it was, that was fun. There are people that do that though. I remember the last time I took my daughter trick-or-treating, there was a house where there was it was like a scarecrow, and it was sitting at the garage, basically right next to the garage, and it had the bowl of candy. And so we're like, okay, it's one of those houses where they just set the candy out and they're hoping that kids will be on their best behavior and only take 2 and all that stuff. And we watched the kids in front of us approach the scarecrow and reach in the bowl and go to grab the candy, and all of a sudden the scarecrow goes, "Rah!" and like freaked him out, man.
Yeah.
Like it was a real person, and you couldn't tell. Like you thought it was one of those just dummy ones, you know? And it scared the crap out of the kids there. But then it scared my daughter. And my daughter was like, I'm not going up there.
Yeah.
Like she saw it happen, and she's like, I'm not approaching that guy,
Yeah.
But it is pretty funny. So I'm trying to like think, Halloween mentality. I mean, there's more than the costumes. There's the scare fest part of it. It gets into that, like, do we like being scared? Do you like being scared?
I don't. So do you ever go to like, because they do a pretty epic haunted house, not haunted house, but it's like the farm or something, like a haunted farm thing.
Yeah.
I've never gone. Have you gone to those?
If I did, it was a long time ago. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I don't know if they're good or bad. I don't know. But what I do know is that like that type of anxiety, like I am worried for, I don't know what it is, dude. I don't like being scared. It's a fear that we instinctively try to avert. So I don't know why people are so into scary movies. You're into scary movies.
I like
you
scary movies.
You like to be induced with fear?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, I think it gives you like a bit of an adrenaline rush.
Well, see, I'm the same way, but like like I've jumped out of a plane. You know what I mean? Like that's just so. But to me, like that's such.
I'd rather watch a scary movie than
I would rather jump out of a plane than watch a genuinely
risk
scary
my life
movie
with a parachute.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know why I don't know. I play with a rattlesnake. You know what I mean? Like that whole story. Like I
But
do
you
have.
don't like scary movies.
I don't like scary movies, and I don't know
Interesting.
what that is. But so if I were to go to one of these like haunted farm experiences thing, I'm a little worried I might punch one of the actors.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like if they popped out like really close to my face, I don't know if I would have the
I
wherewithal
wonder how often
to
that
hold
happens. That somebody just has that fight or flight
back. Right.
response and they chose fight. You
Right.
know, woke up, chose violence.
Dude, right?
So I went to the state fair many, many years ago. I mean, I was a kid. I think it might have actually been like a high school, or not high school, like a elementary school field trip where they took us to, which that would have been crazy because those places are crazy. But there was a like haunted house as part of the fair, and I remember it was like lifted up, right? Because they bring in like these trailers
Yeah.
and they're like lift up. So that, like we had to go up these metal stairs, you know, that you like think about for those planes that you have to go out on the runway and get up into.
Yeah.
You know, it's like one of those, and you get into the thing, and then you have to go through this thing, and it's the haunted house experience, you know, where they do jump scares and all this stuff. Well, I was scared out of my life, like in this place. I was a kid, and they did a really, really good job. And so I am just like, I need to get out of here now. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. I was super, like, they did a really good job. They had like live actors and stuff, right? Not animatronics, anything like that. So I get to this hallway, and I can see there's just a little bit more to go because you can actually see the sunlight in the door frame.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And I was like, okay, I just have to make it through this last hallway. And I'm out. And there's sunlight there, which means, you know, safety.
Did the door do that cinematic thing where it's like, dude, like it's further away from you?
It felt like it really did. So I'm going, and I'm just like, please, no more. I can't take any more. No, please, no more jump scares, nothing. Right? And I'm getting close to the door. I'm about halfway down the hallway. And suddenly there's this loud noise right behind my back, right behind me.
No.
I turn around, and it's like Jason Mask chainsaw.
No.
Right? Standing right behind me. And I don't know if it's a real chainsaw. I was convinced it was, but obviously it wasn't. But I was convinced it was. So I book it. I book it to that door, dude. And I slam the door open. And one step after the open door, metal stairs going down.
No!
Dude, I almost ate it. I could have died that day for real. And not from the haunted house, from those metal stairs. I was like, who does that? Who makes the exit of this place, which obviously people are going to be running out of, scared for their lives, and then have to traverse metal stairs? It had like those little spiky steps, you know? So like you don't slip. Dude, imagine if I tripped on that.
Yeah. That could have been bad.
I could have gone back into the haunted house as one of the actors because I would have been bleeding from my face.
You know, that first of all is a great story. Do you remember when we did the mud run, the Tough Mudder?
Yeah.
Right? Well, there's a lot of different versions of that type of activity. The Tough Mudder is the toughest. We get that. But there's other like mini ones, and there's like really like the Spartan race is good. There's things like that.
Yeah, I remember on the Tough Mudder, there was like a sign that was like, if you were running the Spartan race, you'd be done by now. And it was like mile 3.
Yeah. It's like we have 9 more miles to go. So anyways, I did one, and I believe it was around Halloween season, and I don't remember I think it was literally called the Zombie Run, if I'm not mistaken, but it was so clever, dude, to where it was a typical run, and it would have been even scarier if it was at night, but that would be very hard to pull off. It was a typical run with mud and obstacles and stuff like that. But every contestant was wearing 3 armbands, and the armbands had like a ribbon coming off of them. And there were actors just hidden throughout the course. They were the zombies. And so when you're in the middle of I'm getting goosebumps thinking about this, dude.
This sounds awesome.
It's a great idea, dude. And when you're doing your thing, one of these actors could come out dressed like a zombie, and they try to pull the thing off your arm.
Mm-hmm.
And if they pull it off your arm, that's 1 life gone. So if you're down to 3, you're out. Like, you're literally out, right? Well, it was so much fun, dude. It was so much fun. And there was this, what was it? It was like this muddy segment or whatever, because you got dirty too. And I don't remember quite what it was, but I slipped or something, and I fell in the mud, and it was hard to get out, like crawling out. And this zombie comes after me, dude. And he was doing a great job. He's clawing at my pants and like, trying to pull me back. And I'm like, no, now if it's real, I'm going to kick him in the face. But I'd want to live. I don't want to lose a life. And I'm like pulling back. I'm like, no. And I'm like rolling away. My friends are just cracking up. And I don't remember if he got my band or not, but I got away, or I either got away or I still had lives left because I was able to finish the race. Well, about probably 70 to 80% through the race, we're all kind of tired and muddy and exhausted, just having a great time. Just so memorable. And there's this, I hadn't seen a zombie in a while, and there's this group of girls, like probably about like 8 to 10 girls, all walking together in this race. They're kind of walking now because they're getting tired. And I'm with my friends. How can you not? They're so comfortable, dude. And I sneak up behind them, and I give the most blood-curdling zombie scream you can possibly imagine, dude. And you would have thought they just witnessed me rip one of their heads off. They screamed and split, dude, like cockroaches when you turn the light on, dude, just like, wah! They just started screaming, ah! They just went around. I just started laughing, and they were all good sports about it, dude. And other people who watched it happen were like, dude, that was really good, man. They were just like, I thought you were real. Like they just freaked out. It was so good.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
We should look and see if they still do something like that. Obviously now we missed it, but next year maybe.
Yeah, because it was fun. You would like it, dude. So clever.
You used to do stuff for Halloween, but not anymore?
Well, so I haven't done anything Halloween-y in a long time, and I don't know why that is. I don't have anything against the holiday.
Well, if I had to guess, I mean, your kids are older now. You know what I mean? Like I still have a young one. That's
fair.
I mean, she's reaching the end of it.
Yeah.
But I think she's got a year, maybe 2 left of trick or treating in her. And so it's still like she gets excited about pumpkin carving and her picking out her costume and the trick or treating, and she's excited about hanging out in the driveway and watching Hocus Pocus when she's done trick or treating and all that kind of stuff. She got excited that I am wearing a costume this year, all that kind of stuff. So maybe like once they get past that stage, like maybe it's not as fun, Yeah,
but I don't want to be that guy. Like I like what you're doing. I admire what you're doing. I want to be that guy. I want to be the guy who's still into it and is a fun person to be around and stuff. And I'm not negative. Like this, I'm actually looking forward to tonight. Today is Halloween, and I'm looking forward to tonight because my cul-de-sac is actually all getting together, and they're all just going to do this thing. And they put a thing on my door, and I'm like, it is unequivocally the wrong decision to not go to this because I don't even know my neighbors. I mean, I talked to some of them, but whenever somebody does something like this, I'm very supportive of that, and I miss having a tight-knit cul-de-sac group. In fact, when my kids were younger, me and all the parents and along with my wife, we would take all the kids out and we would do a group effort, and we would do like a whole gaggle of us would take the kids trick-or-treating when they were younger. And it was very memorable and it was fun. I never dressed up. I think I dressed as Bob the Builder one time because my daughter wanted me to. I'm like, yeah, of course. But I never dressed up. I was never compelled to do that. But we would hang out and have fun and do the walk. But I always remember being like, dude, we've been walking for hours. Like, when is this over? You know what I mean? Like, when are we done here? And I also remember it being freezing, and it'll be fine tonight. But tonight, I don't think I'm going to be doing the cul-de-sac thing. My wife and I are probably just going to watch Thursday Night Football because we love doing that. We're going to turn all the lights off. I can't believe I'm saying this. I feel like a bad person for saying this. We're going to turn all the lights off. I think what I might do is just pick up candy and contribute it to the table for the, you know what I mean? I might at least do that. You know what I mean? Like, go just get the candy and contribute. I'm not going to be hanging out with you.
Then they're going to be like, but why don't you
just hang out with us? Yeah. And I'll be like, well, because I don't want to. You know what I mean? Like that, it's nothing again. I'm sure my neighbors are cool. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's quite literally that.
Just tell them, because I just got a hot tub.
That too. My wife and I are going to go in the hot tub and just.
See, that just sounds like a good night.
Yeah. It's just the hot tub. We've had it for like a handful of days. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But it has seemed like less and less houses are like leaving their lights on and being part of the trick-or-treating experience. And that's like leading to less and less kids in our neighborhood and stuff. Yeah. Or maybe they're just all growing up, Like you get in a neighborhood, it feels like you get in a neighborhood and for some reason like everyone's around the same age and they all like make friends and stuff, and then all of a sudden they all age out, together as well.
All like simultaneously.
So we've had less and less trick-or-treaters. In fact, I have no idea if I bought too many candy bars or not enough. No idea. I'll probably end up with a whole box of candy bars.
See, and that's the thing is that my wife doesn't even want us to get candy. She's like, because the trick-or-treaters never show up, and then we have all this candy and we end up eating it, and we should not be eating this. And she's right. Yeah. Now it does last for months, you know what I mean? But I don't ever eat candy.
Yeah, I don't have too much of a sweet tooth, so like the idea of eating candy doesn't excite me.
Yeah, so I just have this bag of candy there that just feels bad to throw away or something. But I don't know. I think maybe I'm going to buy some candy and contribute it, and maybe actually hang out for a little bit. That's what I should do. You know what I mean? At least meet my neighbors. Bit of your time. Yeah, it's whoever is putting this together. I don't even know who it is, but I admire that. And there needs to be more of that in the world in general.
Yeah. One of the first years that we lived in this house, our neighbor did like a hangout, you know what I mean? Like potluck, sitting in the driveway. We do the potluck together and just hang out. And
for Halloween?
For Halloween. Yeah. And so I was like, oh, sweet. This is going to be one of those neighborhoods that are like that. And then that was the only time they ever did it, was that one year. And so like this year, I'm like, okay, we're going to do that. We're going to sit in the driveway. I'm going to invite all the neighbors. Yeah, nobody's coming.
Nobody's coming?
No.
Nobody's coming?
No, I think they were intimidated by my full-size candy bars.
Yeah, probably. I'll tell you, that was my biggest reason for now. I'm like, I'm going to be the guy handing out bite
I have
size.
too many. You can borrow mine.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Nobody's coming. That makes me sad.
As far as I know, yeah. So the neighbor that used to do the driveway thing, I asked them, and they have other stuff going on because daughter plays club softball, and they apparently the coach doesn't acknowledge that it's Halloween, so they have actual softball practice on Halloween, which feels weird.
Yeah,
and so that's happening, and so she can't make it because she's obviously going to go to her daughter's practice, and then the other side, the other house, I think he's just got too many kids. He has to go trick-or-treating with them all. He's never going to make it back. So we'll see.
Okay. What's your youngest going as?
She's just a witch, just straight up, just normal, like a normal witch costume. I think maybe because we've been watching Agatha. What's it called? Anyway, maybe it's just called Agatha, and she's a witch. So I think she's trying to dress up as Agatha.
Okay.
Agatha's part of the Marvel thing. I don't know if you're familiar.
Is your wife going to dress up as anything?
She has a shirt that she bought that has some ghosts, I guess, with like sheets, and it says this is some boo sheet on it. So that's.
I really enjoyed that.
I talked her out of the other one that she wanted to get. It has ghost bees, 2 of them. One on each chest.
And they're boobies.
And they were boobies.
Yeah,
and it says
good.
are you looking at my boobies?
You talked her out of that one?
I talked her out of that one. That felt a little inappropriate for children.
Okay, well, I like
boo
it.
sheet is fine.
That boo sheet's good, but the other one's really funny. A boo sheet? Boo sheet? Boo sheet?
Yeah. So she got that one instead. But now I'm like, in retrospect, the boobies one was actually
That's
pretty
really
funny. That was pretty funny. So she just wanted to do a little goofy shirt.
Yeah.
But yeah, she did that at least, She's doing something. So
And you're dressing up as the Minion.
I'll be the Minion again.
Yeah.
I got
so fitting.
the first time in my life ever that I wore overalls. Have you ever worn overalls?
Yes, back in grade school, they were a thing for a little bit there. I had like one pair. I wore them.
Oh, did you do the thing with the one strap down?
I don't remember if I did the one
like
strap.
crisscross. Did you wear them backwards?
No, I didn't wear them backwards because my
either.
brain works. But as far as like the one strap, I think I did the one strap.
The one strap was the way. Yeah,
because you don't need both to hold.
I don't think I
up.
ever tried that look though.
Sometimes I did both straps off, but typically I was taking off my overalls at that point.
Okay.
We're talking about the physics of overalls.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, here's the deal. If you wore both straps, if you could pull off both straps back then
and look cool,
you had confidence. I mean it. But those didn't. And I'll tell you this, years later, dude, I was at a party years later. I want you to keep in mind, overalls were no longer a thing for the longest time. And I was at a party, and I was sitting next to a good friend of mine at the time. And this is when I was working at Costco. And we just had very similar humor. And we were sitting there on this couch, there's music playing and all that. And we just decided, let's rip on people. Like, not to their face, but we know all these people. They're all our friends. You know what I mean? But let's just like, whoever walks in the door next, let's find something about them to make fun of. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Well, in walks.
That sounds like a fun game.
Well, we're all friends. So in walks 2 of our closest friends at the time, both rocking overalls. This is not a Halloween party, dude.
Oh,
both
okay.
rocking overalls. There was nothing to even say. We both just were crying with laughter. We just thought, like, we made this game, and then the next 2 people brought in a style that had been out of style for like many years. And they walked in wearing overalls, and they weren't trying to be funny. They thought, like, we're gonna bring back something old. It's gonna be cool. We're gonna look cool. No, you're not, because they're overalls, homie. And they walk in, and me and my buddy we start laughing so hard, just crying with laughter. And they both looked at us because we're all friends, and they're like, "What are you laughing at?" We're like, "We're laughing at you, man." And they're like, "Maybe these were the wrong idea."
Some people can pull off overalls, though. I've seen people
even today.
Like, yeah, I've seen people in overalls today that it just makes sense.
Like what?
Like farmers.
Well, yeah. You mean with the functional use of them? Well, it's crazy because when I go to I don't know where this came from, but you go to the ASU game, in the student section, it's like overalls are a thing. But they're ASU overalls. ASU's a college, and they're ASU colored overalls. And a lot of these young dudes have college bodies. They're still thin, and they're sometimes
they're like probably not even wearing a t-shirt underneath.
No, they're not. They're wearing overalls with no shirt underneath, and they have the bodies to do so, right? But it's a student section. Let them live. Let them have a good time. But I'm like, God, these guys are young and in really good shape, and they still look stupid. Like, this is what goes through my head. Overalls are for farmers, and that's it. Like, that's it. Like,
I just alienated at least 3 people listening.
No, I like overalls on women, though.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll work.
Wow, we've really strayed off this topic.
Yeah, but now we should come back to it. Let's go back to Halloween.
Okay, yeah. Okay. All right. Hey, he wants to keep going down this path.
No, this podcast was supposed to be a very chill.
Yeah, no, I think it's that's exactly what we want.
Yeah.
All right, I want to go back to something. Okay, so we were talking about scary movies. You don't like scary movies.
Or overalls, but
and overalls. We've established that. And pink shirts that are too tight with popped collars. Got it. I'm making a list. And so
you should dress up as all those things at once. Just to piss me off. Yeah. All right, go ahead.
Okay, don't like scary movies, but you play Phasmo, which is a scary game.
Yes.
So how is that different?
That's a great question. That really is. I guess because I got a little bit of control. You know what I mean? When I'm playing Phasmo, I mean, I'm not as afraid of Phasmo as I was when I first started playing, but at any given time, I can just turn around and walk out the door of the house that we're in or whatever. I also am, God, that's a great question, man, because when I get scared in Phasmo, it still happens. It actually happened. We were playing yesterday, and dude, I got a legit jump scare, like legit. And I reacted to it, and I don't know. That feeling I had, maybe that's what people like you chase when you watch scary movies.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Something about dude, gore is not the problem. To me, it's the movies that are about the paranormal, or like, that's what gets me.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the movies about paranormal.
Yeah. We did a whole podcast on like ghost stories. So
yes,
we both lean towards feeling like there could be something more around us, right?
Yeah.
Is what we came into the conclusion in that one. That was an early episode.
That was like episode 3 or something. It was crazy.
Yeah, somewhere in our first couple months, I think. Didn't we make a design on our what is it called, a clapper or clacker?
I
never
don't know. But look, this one here, I'll do this camera. See this ghost, dude? We did this for that episode, Ghost Stories, which was about 2 years ago. And I was like, because I was drawing in the scene name. I guess it would go this way.
The podcast name,
The podcast name. And sorry, podcast name. Anyways, for this one, I just drew a picture of a ghost. You can see
there was something written on there before. I can see. What did that say under the ghost? Do you see that?
Yeah, it's like quirks. Did we do something about quirks?
Yeah, I guess so.
Who cares?
I don't know. That was so
Anyways, that's been there forever, and now it's like caked on there, dude.
Yeah, that's never coming off. So every time we do the clapper. Well,
I always called it a clacker. Then Mumbo saw it when we had him on.
Yeah,
and he was like, "You've got yourself a clapper."
And Mumbo's a professional. He works in the industry, so we figured that's what it actually meant. I've changed it to clapper ever since. He was so excited that we had that, though. That was so funny.
I know.
He's like, "Oh my gosh, you guys have that? You're so professional."
Yeah,
because we have that.
Well, because I used to clap. And maybe it is called a clapper because I used to clap.
Yeah,
and then I'm like, dude, this is the worst. Lining up the audio and video is awful.
Yeah.
So we got this, and it's been butter ever since.
So Paranormal, which is what we have in the game, right? It's not so much gory. The game isn't relying on. There's some scenes, like especially in the asylum and stuff, where there's like, oh, that's the room they did experiments on people, and there's blood, and you actually like walk through guts and
it's
squishy
really
and stuff.
gross.
So there's some of that. There's some of that, but the idea is that we are paranormal investigators, and we're trying to figure out what type of ghost is haunting a house, and sometimes that ghost will appear in your face.
Yeah,
and some of the models are actually really well done. Of the ghosts.
Very well done. I agree with you.
I'm kind of numb to them now, but I still have those moments too, where if you just get caught at the right time, and then they're in your face out of nowhere. I've had even after playing for like 2 years, I still have a scream, a super manly scream that comes out of nowhere. That happened. But so you've kind of gotten used to that game. You feel like you're a little more in control, so it's not as scary.
Yeah.
But playing that game has made me really want to do it for real. I really, really want to. And part of this also, the reason I think I got so much into this game was because me and my wife watched a lot of Ghost Adventures. Do you remember that? Do you ever see that show with Zach Baggins?
Baggins,
who talks and like, I make fun of the way he talks, but it's actually
he's over the top.
He's a little over, you know. As we entered this house, there was an aura about it. As we saw items moving, you know, it just like gets really too much into that kind of voice that I'm just like, little cringe for me. Yeah. But it's good. I feel like I'm one of those dorks that believe it, even though it's probably all staged, you know.
Yeah.
But I want to enjoy it. I'm easy when it comes to entertainment. I don't get too into the weeds and try to poke at things that are wrong. And like my wife, love her to death, but like sometimes she'll just ruin the moment. She'll be like there'll be a scene with somebody and it'll be great, and then the next scene she's like, "You see that? He's got one extra button unbuttoned. Watch." And then I'll go back. And now it's buttoned back up. Like she picks up on all those little details.
Continuity errors?
Yes, continuity errors. Like she could work in the industry pointing out continuity errors because like I feel like she's not even watching. She's just looking for continuity errors. And like she'll point that stuff out and she'll do that too with the Ghost Adventures. And so it's like, oh, okay, yeah, it's obvious they're staging stuff or whatever because she sees everything.
Yeah.
But I like to just enjoy it at face value and pretend that it could be a real thing. And I want to go do it, like watching those guys do it. And I just think it would be super fun playing Phasmo, like we know what the instruments do now and stuff. Like if we had an EMF reader, you know, it went into a house and got some spikes and stuff. It'd be
Evan
pretty
and
cool.
Caitlin did it. And so all right, let me give my 2 cents on this. If you wanted to do this, I would do this with you.
You wouldn't be too scared.
I would be
going
scared.
to like an actual haunted house with equipment.
I would be scared, which if I would be scared, then that's a testament that I've got to believe on some level, right? And so to that end, I think and this is going to sound so ridiculous, you saw the movie Paranormal Activity, right? I think what frightened me most about that, and a lot, like I said, we've talked about this, but people who are super into scary movies, Paranormal Activity does not scare them, right? It scares me. The concept scares me. And I think they did a lot of good things in that movie. But the one thing that really I just could not sit with, because clearly what was haunting her was a demon, and that was, you could see that when they put the powder on the thing, and then the 3-toed hooves showed up in the chalk or whatever it was. It was like flour or something. They had moved houses, and this thing came with. So that is what's got me twisted. You go do a haunted house. What if it imprints on you? What if it? Are you opening up a window?
Aren't you supposed to do stuff like smudge stick? Like, okay, we're leaving now. Bye. Smudge stick, wave it in the air, and you can't follow me.
If I'm the ghost, I'm like, this is not Phasmophobia, idiot. You think a little smoke does anything to me? I'm a ghost. That's
what smudge sticks are for.
Yeah, but it's a
cleanse
joke.
The area.
That's a joke.
All right. Well, if it follows you home, that's going to make it much easier to do a paranormal investigation because it'll be in your house. We don't have to go find a facility.
Then we're coming to your house first. We're coming here. Actually, I can't. It is such a ridiculous, but you hear these stories, right? All the time. You never know what to believe. And now we're just talking about spooky stuff, which is great. But you know, there was those old books. Gosh, what are they called, dude? I don't know what it was. It was like a series of books back in the day that there was these commercials for them, really haunting commercials, but it was basically books about crazy paranormal stories. And Paranormal Activity, and
like Goosebumps.
No. It was all like retelling of true story. I'm using air quotes here. True stories. In fact, when we did our Ghost Stories podcast, this is coming back to me now. I talked about how I had the sensation in this weird cabin, and then I had seen on this. No, it wasn't books. It was a show. There was both. There were books and it was a show. I'm never going to remember what it was called, but they had all this creepy stuff. And one of the things I had seen in one of the books anyways, was this haunted house, and this little girl with pigtails went down in the basement to get something, and she had to pick up a box of whatever. And she's walking back upstairs, and both of her braids, the bottom half of her braids, just lopped off and fell in the box. Okay? She just walked in, they just got cut and fell into the box. Okay, can we just pause for a second? I don't know if that's true, dude. I don't know if that's true. But if it is true, I don't want to mess with that, dude.
Yeah.
Doesn't that scare you?
Yeah, they shouldn't be able to affect the physical world.
That's what I'm
that much.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
Well, you had poltergeists. Look at that. And
see?
they throw stuff across the room.
Lots.
In Phasmo, anyway.
Yeah, all the ghosts do. But
Yeah.
Polties throw more. Now we're back on the game only. There was a show, it wasn't Fear Factor, but it was something Fear Factor-ish type thing, but it was all based in paranormal. Okay.
Ooh.
And it was actually, I'm gonna be honest with you, yes, the same story. Is this full? Are they full of it? The show you're talking about, there were like a bunch of people in there and there was cameras and they had set up. This was different. This was very Phasmo-esque. But imagine this. Imagine, like, we're in the truck. Imagine if only one person goes in at a time, right? And typically that's what this was. They'd all be in their headquarters, which was like a mobile truck or whatever. They'd be like, okay, your challenge is this. You're going to go in. And it wasn't about go find the ghost or get proof of paranormal activity. They would go to very well-known haunted places. And a lot of them were creepy, like insane asylums and stuff, or prisons, very Phasmophobia. And it'd be like, okay, to move on to the next stage, you've got to go into the lobby and ring the bell and then come back out or whatever, right? And they would do this and it would get worse and worse and worse. And those who would tag and be like, I'm out. I call uncle. I'm not doing this one. Last man standing wins, whatever it is. Okay. Well, it just kept, as you progress, it got worse and worse and worse. And they did this really good job of having these like body cams on them. It was actually really funny. I just don't know.
Was it those ones that got really popular where it was like coming up over their head in front of their face, and so as they're walking, it's like shaking.
Yes, it was like
because that was like where that got popular, like on Fear Factor and stuff like that.
Yes, dude, it was like that.
Okay.
But what was nice about it was you're down to two options here. When they go into the prison, okay, we're just going to do this. One of them was a prison, and it was a big prison, and so when they go into the prison with the multiple floors and everything, okay, just like what we've seen, when they go into the prison, in theory, there's not one other living soul in that building. Now, the show is either full of crap or it's not full of crap. I don't know. But let's just go down the path of it not being full of crap. Because if it is, that sucks. If there's actors in there throwing stuff, that's garbage. Man, don't do that. I mean, you kind of want, like you're saying.
They got to make a show.
You got to make a show, right? But that would just be awful. And
if the people walked in and there was no activity, they have no show.
Well, that's just it. You go in a place that big, it doesn't matter if there's nobody in there. You're going to hear something. A mouse is going to make something.
They'll be creaking.
Something's going to. There'll be settling. There'll be. You sit in your own house by yourself and just turn all your stuff off. You will hear noise.
Yeah.
You'll hear stuff. That's just the way it is. A place this big, not only are you going to hear it, it's going to echo, right? So, anyways, they go in there and they'll be walking, and then you'll hear a cell door on the rails. And you're like, what? You know what I mean? So that was either a person did that or something paranormal did that. There's not a third option. And you're going to freak out. How are you not going to freak out? It's nighttime. You're in this abandoned, haunted prison by yourself. Now, and not to mention leaving is going to take a while because they're big. Well, I would say that the craziest thing I ever saw them do, and this was something I've been like, that's the one. I would have tapped out right then and there. They had to follow directions. Now, they do have an earpiece on. They are talking to the people in the headquarters, and they're getting instructions on what to do.
Okay.
And like, okay, you're going to go in. You're going to go down this long hallway. Walk, walk, walk. You should be coming up. Then they can see what they're doing. Okay, at the end, there's a door on the left. Open that door on the left. They open it, and there's a stairway downstairs into a basement. They're like, go down that. And now, dude, now they're in the bowels of this thing, right? They're down in the basement. They're going
What do
down.
they call that? Solitary confinement. Is that where they're going? In the solitary confinement room?
I'm sure they would have preferred that over what I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
Yeah. This was an old prison. There was an electric chair.
No.
Yeah. You got to go in there, and on the electric chair is a blindfold. Put on that blindfold.
Oh my gosh.
And sit down. They had to sit there for an hour.
An hour?
Yeah. Okay.
In a chair that multiple people died in.
Yeah. This is a girl that was doing this. Okay. You ready for this? I'm gonna tell you how this played out, because this is gonna be nuts. Because now I want you to think about this. When I say either a real person did this or was paranormal, listen to what I'm about to tell you. She did it. She lasted the hour or half hour, whatever. I'm pretty sure it was a full hour, because I remember having the reaction you did. And then they're like, you did it. You're done. Come on out. So she just calmly stood up. She just walked out like nothing happened. And she walks all the way back, and they're like celebrating. They're like, you have got it. And she's just chill. Nothing. And they're like, are you all right? And she's all, somebody kiss me. Yeah, dude.
Whoa.
Yes, dude. Yes. Somebody kissed her.
I just got chills.
See, did me too. Look at my
Oh,
hair.
yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Woo-hoo!
Yours are obvious. Maybe not.
Ew. I hate goosebumps.
You
But,
used to say your goosebumps hurt.
well, they don't hurt, but they do hurt, but they don't
I
hurt.
don't understand what that means.
They're gross, and they get so radical that it's like tearing my skin up. But
You don't remember the name of the show? I want to find it
No,
now.
dude, somebody in the
because
comments-
I'm so into Ghost Adventures. I watch like a lot of the Ghost
Yeah.
Adventures, and like that's fun and cute and all, but this sounds awesome. I
Yeah.
want to see this. But it's probably going to be like from 1995 and it just have like terrible quality.
it probably will be. Actually, I feel like it was later than 95, but I think it was more early 2000s, I think.
Okay.
I'm going to see if I can look that up because it's somebody in the comments. You guys let us know too.
Somebody's going to remember it.
Yeah.
I hope.
Is
'Cause
that,
I want to binge watch this one now.
dude, how was that story? That's a good story,
That's
huh?
good.
Like she was chill. And she's just like, somebody kissed me.
Just frozen in
She
fear.
was like, I couldn't tell if she was like, I can't figure it out. Like I could never get a read on her in regards to, are you neutralized right now emotionally because you feel like you just got kissed by a ghost and you can't be scarier than that? Or are you feeling violated because they just had an actor do this? Or did they bring her boyfriend in or something? I have no idea. You know what I mean? But that is over the top. Like
because
that's
when it happened, they didn't show video footage of
I
that
don't mean
moment.
that's the one thing I'm like, they didn't show that moment. You know what I mean? And or they did, and I'm forgetting it. You know what I mean? And maybe she was like, "Who is that?" I have no idea. But like I said, she was blindfolded sitting in an electric chair. Now here's the deal. That's also, it could be argued, that's a little too dark because the electric chair, which we don't use anymore, is how they used to kill people, capital punishment.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're essentially sitting where a lot of people died, but you're sitting where people were forced to sit to die. Like this is very dark, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I remember being like, I wonder if the show got any crap for that, because there is such a thing as crossing a line, you know. And I've always wondered if that was a line that may have been crossed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrifying. Oh man. So yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna get some equipment and
After all that.
and we're gonna
See?
go IRL ghost hunting.
Would you sit in an electric chair in the dark? You had to traverse to it deep into the bowels of an abandoned prison.
I want to say I think I could do it. I want to say I think I could. I think I could go somewhere else in my brain and get myself through it. I want to believe I'm probably chicken out.
I think I would chicken out too. I don't know.
I want to say that I have the courage to do that.
Okay.
But I don't want to be tested either.
But you want to do this.
Well, I do. Yeah, but I'm not talking about going and sitting in an electric chair. I'm talking about going into a haunted house and like finding EMF readings and looking for ghost orbs and stuff. You know.
Okay. Now there is, I really like Danny Gonzalez. He's a YouTuber. This is the guy I'm always telling you about. That like, this is one of my Everests to get him on the show, but he's way too big for us right now. He is amazing. His post-production is amazing. His episodes are events. You know what I mean? And he did one where he spent all night in like a really infamous haunted room in some hotel. And if I'm not mistaken, the lore is that there was Jim Carrey was filming a movie in he was given that room for whatever. This is the lore. Okay. I have no idea how valid any of this is, but he was in that room and I guess he was only in there like an hour or so, and he packed up and left and he's like, I will be staying at another hotel.
Wow.
Yeah. And nobody knows the story. I don't know how true that is. Anyways, I believe that's the room that Danny Gonzalez stayed in, and he did a whole night by himself, dude. And
did he get anything like interesting on footage, or is it just mainly him freaking out?
No, he was like, he made a big joke out of it, and because he's really funny, he's a really funny dude. But if I'm not mistaken, I think he went in being like a super duper non-believer. And I think he came out the other side being like, I'm not so sure anymore.
Something there.
Yeah, but it could have been just messing like his head, because our brains are really powerful. Our brains can conjure up things that aren't there.
You said Evan and Caitlin did it. I don't think I've seen not that specifically, but they've gone ghost hunting.
Yeah.
I believe they were telling us they had the equipment and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever watched their episode or whatever that they made.
I saw a little bit of it.
I want to see that.
Yeah.
I want to see how that went for them.
Yeah.
Because I think I'd be interested in doing something.
I know
similar.
why I saw a little bit. We had them on the show. They talked about it. I went and I found it and I put it on. I supplemented it.
We should spend time like actually watching.
Yeah.
Everybody should spend time watching Evan and Caitlin's episode of their paranormal investigation and every other thing they do, because they're awesome.
That's
There you
fun.
go.
Let's let it play out. They are
plug
great
that.
people. I love them. I love them. Yeah. So there you go. So you want to do this or not? Sounds like you really want to do this.
I do. But also, I'm totally understanding that there's a lot I want to do. Like, still haven't made my studio tour after being in here for 2 years. So,
We're busy.
Little behind on just
What if
about
we do
everything.
a podcast from a haunted room?
That could be cool. I like the idea of remote podcasts, even though we had issues with the one that we did.
Yeah, we'll get
but
better.
if we get a little smarter and more controlled of our environment and mics and stuff, I like the idea of like podcasts on location type stuff.
Yeah,
that would be super
I still
cool.
talked about getting a tattoo, like getting a.
Yeah, we were gonna do the tattoo.
I cleared that with my artist and his management, and we just never pulled the trigger.
Did it?
Yeah,
Was that for that tattoo that you got? You were gonna get another one.
It was a different one.
But have you figured out what your next tattoo is gonna be?
So I can only say kind of. I sort of have. I have more thinking to do. And the tattoos are something that I only have the one because it took me that long to land on the perfect thing. You know what I mean? And even this one I've got regrets about.
Yeah, I don't know I'm not against tattoos. If I had the right idea and the right place that I wanted to put it, I could probably go pull the trigger on that, but I got nothing right now that's like enticing me to get a tattoo. So
yeah, this has got to be. You know what's funny, dude, is that this one, I wish it said create this way. I'm gonna show. Okay, but here's the deal.
Just have them flip it. We'll just cut your skin
this
off
is
and
my
turn it around
fault.
and sew it back on.
When he put the stencil on, he had it like that. And I'm like, no, let's flip it the other way so I can kind of say like, oh, it's live to create, so I can do this motion with it. But I should have just had it said create, you know what I mean? And then you could just leave it at that. And then I could actually be like, if you flip it this way, but whatever, it doesn't matter. I love this. No actual regrets. I love this tattoo. I just got to get my next one going. And maybe we do an on-scene.
See, that's the thing about tattoos. It's scary. It's like once it's there, it's there. You can't change it.
Well, you can remove them. It's just a really painful, expensive process.
Yeah, just remove it and get it redone. No problem.
I really like this.
That's
Well,
awesome.
I'm going to get another one. But anyways, so.
And now you're doing it.
What?
You got the tattoo, now you're living to it.
Now I'm doing it. That's
yeah,
right.
This is what we do. We live to create now. And obviously there's much more than just the creation process, but that's our lives now. And we get to do this podcast every week, spend a whole day focused on this podcast. And this has been a lot of fun. This has been a journey. Obviously, neither one of us knew how long we were going to do this for. And here we are, I lost count.
Yeah, 117, 18, something
Are we
like
in
that.
there? Okay.
Well, when this no longer works out or when I get canceled, I'll get another tattoo that says "Go back to work."
Yeah. Go back to
your Fortune
sit in a
500
cube.
company.
Go sit in a cube.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
man.
awful. God, that was terrible. All right,
I felt like I was less stressed with the cube job. I felt like I was less stressed.
Yeah, so I was stressed for a little bit in the cube job until I realized none of this matters. I mean, the people are being...
Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah.
This is a whole different podcast we can get into, but like that's the point. When you stop being stressed, it's because you don't care as much. If you don't care as much, that means you don't really want to
You're not
be there
living
anymore.
anymore. Everything's a waste of time.
Yeah.
It's all a waste of time.
So then you got to get re-inspired to do something.
This is a more stressful life, but it's the greatest stress there is. Yeah.
It's like, oh man, gotta go set up for the podcast. It's gonna be a full day of podcast stuff. It's so stressful. Gonna hang out with my buddy in the office all day.
No, it's
nothing to complain about there.
You know what? I'll leave it with this. That Seinfeld put it perfectly when he came out after his stand-up, and they asked, "What's your favorite Seinfeld episode?" And he said, "Well, that's like asking what's your favorite breath of air." Because your favorite one's the one you're taking because it's getting you to the next one. And that's what this life is.
Yeah.
Every time you do something, it's a breath of air. It's the treadmill, the content treadmill.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not complaining. Love it. Hey, look up where you want to do paranormal stuff and we'll see if I can get the metal to join you.
Yeah.
I
think Evan and Caitlin even offered to like loan us some equipment that they had bought.
Maybe we just meet up with them and just do it.
Oh, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they can bring their stuff and all four of us will do it.
That
might be a thing. That might be a thing. That could be a thing. I stole that from you. We should do it though. We should definitely find time to do it.
Yeah.
That would be fun. I mean, would that be considered a podcast? Or I mean,
yes. Yes, we do it a different style. We film
Yeah.
it. It's just it's.
Hey,
fine.
we did hot ones on this podcast, so that
I know.
you know we've definitely not stuck to the standard cookie cutter protocol for video podcasts.
No, we're down to give it all a go. So check it out. So make sure you're looking at that link in the description if you want to come join that private show, or you just want to be a part of the support awesomeness that is this show. Check that out. But hopefully, well, you're going to see this tomorrow. We're going to make this happen.
We're
So
gonna make this
hopefully,
happen. Yeah.
hopefully
One
you had a
day
good
turnaround.
Halloween yesterday, and you guys stayed safe and had a good time and didn't snatch anybody's bags.
Oh. Tisk tisk.
If you did,
Feel bad about it at least. Don't ever do it
if you snatched somebody's bag last night, you did. Nobody did. Our audience is too cool. Nobody did. If you did, if one of you did, you better find that kid and you make it right. Okay? Because you just imprinted on them in the worst fashion. They will remember that negative moment for the rest of their lives. I still feel, you know what's crazy? To this day, I wish it was me.
I remember the look in the kid's eyes,
Yeah.
man. Like,
You just remember.
devastating.
I wish it was my bag that got pulled.
Yeah, same.
Because I just like it was, and the guy was my buddy. We were the same age, but I just was so heartbroken for him. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? God,
Yeah.
punk. Whatever.
Nobody did that. All right. Well, hey, this was fun.
You're all cool.
Yeah,
You guys are
we
cool.
decided to we've had a lot of guests lately. We decided to just get back to just hanging out and having a good time, just chatting about stuff that's on our mind. And
Yep.
this was one of those. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully we'll see you in the Discord if you become part of the Patreon community.
We'll see you there.
If not, we'll catch your comments.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys next time.
Bye. And scene.